Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Gerrad. Gerrad from Helena Montana and USA. So let's see what Gerrad has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello. Great. So how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you very much. How's the weather look like right? Where are you from, by the way?
Helena, Montana is where I live.
Okay. And what's the weather look like?
Yeah, it's hazy and foggy and beautiful and cold and snowy.
In London as well. In London today, it's been quite cold today as well. I went for a run this morning. It was freezing. It was really, really cold. But in the afternoon, like after lunchtime, the sun showed up and was beautiful. And
nice.
So tell me, what do you do for a living?
Well, a couple things.
Right.
I work for the state of Montana, doing data resource management. Okay. But I'm also an author. My first book came out this last September.
Right.
And it's a children's fantasy fiction book. So I'm writing the second one now. It's a sequel to the story. So
okay.
So that's what I do.
Tell me a little bit about your book. It's called
Good Oliver Dooley and the Palace of Keepers. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
It's autobiographical, so it's my life story, but told in a fantasy fictional way. And I started writing it about 3.5 years ago, just for fun. I met with this friend downtown for ice cream once, and I said, I want to write a book. And she says, what about? I said, I have no idea, actually. I just woke up this morning and I want to write one. And she's like, oh. I said, well, I have a couple ideas this morning. I jotted down. I said, I don't really know what to do with them. But I said, all I know is I want to create a place that I want to be in. Because this world is awful sometimes, many times, especially for someone who's maybe homosexual, such as myself. And I've grown up with such awful, traumatizing experiences, and it's not a world that I often feel comfortable in being a part of. And so I want to create a place that is something that I wanted to be a part of, and that's where it started. So I wrote like the first couple chapters of an introduction, and at that point I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to actually write a book. So I just kept writing, though. I just would write on the weekends for a few hours, and before I knew it, I had like 500 pages, and I was like, I think I have the first book done. And then I was in London visiting a friend, and I love London. I love going there as much as I can, and visiting a friend, and I said, I don't know if I even want it published in America. I don't care if it is. I think if I want it published, I want it published here, because everyone in London is walking around with a book in their hands, and there's such a reading culture, and
it's so true.
Yeah. And so I said, I hadn't even really thought about it. I said, but I asked my friend, do you know of a publisher I could, maybe reach out to? And he said, yeah. He says, let me ask a couple friends of mine and see what they recommend. And so he gave me a recommendation to this one publisher, which is the one I submitted to, and they offered me a contract right out of my first try. I was actually so surprised that I thought it was bogus. I was like, oh, this can't be real. So I have a friend who's a literary agent, and I asked him, I said, would you mind looking at this contract and telling me if it's legitimate or not? Because I don't know anything about this. I'm new to this world. And he says, yeah, let me call you and we'll talk about it. And he says, so they offered you this on your first attempt? And I said, yeah. He says, you want to sign this? He said. So I said, okay, well, as long as you approve, and so that's what happened. And so the story is about this young boy he's given a death sentence as a baby because he's heir to this throne, heir to a kingdom.
Okay.
And he's supposed to die very prematurely, but he doesn't. He keeps living, and then he gets invited to this very mysterious garden competition. And the story takes place in northern England, because I'm Anglophile. I love England. So he goes to this competition, and he has to have a special kind of plant to enter into the competition. And then all of a sudden, this whole world reveals itself that has been hidden, that he is obviously supposed to be a part of, and has been hidden from him. And then he meets new friends and all these characters. And it is such fun and it's so freeing to just create a world. It's so much fun, and many writers have said it, but like creativity or writing process is like I'm just the hose through which the water flows through. And I can't remember, I'm really bad at names, but there was another famous author that said that. It's so true how that happens. And so the first book is released, it's out. I'm writing the second one now. It's already written, I'm typing it up now because I handwrite everything first.
Right.
And then I'll submit it to the publisher when that's done to start the production process. But yeah.
So the second one is a continuation of the first one.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Okay, Gerrad. So, am I saying your name right? Gerrad?
Gerrad.
Gerrad. Okay, Gerrad. So, welcome to William and the Magic Box. So
yeah, it's exciting.
I have this lovely box here full of random fun questions, okay? So, ready to go through in a beautiful journey through your memories, your point of views, you know?
Sure.
Great. I'm gonna play a music now just for us to get in the mood before the first question, okay? Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, George, ready for the first question?
Sure.
Let's do it. The first question is, what is your funniest memory of your time at school?
Funnest memory of my time at school. Well, growing up, I moved 36 times in like 15 years. Wow. So we moved around a lot. So yeah, it's like twice a year basically. So the most fun memory I have in school would be, I like to learn. I always loved learning, and arts and crafts were probably my most favorite subject because I could, design and create things or draw or Christmas decorations that we would make for the classroom. Those were probably my most enjoyable moments in school.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have brother and sister as well?
Yeah, I have. I'm the eldest. I have 2 younger sisters and a younger brother. Yeah, and 2 nephews.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do they live over there as well? Are they around you? Or?
Yeah, they all live about 4 hours north of where I live.
Cool, great. Ready for the second question?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, second question. If you could have a superpower, what that would be and why?
I wish I had the ability to have a special type of ink that when I threw it on someone, ignorance would be dispelled.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, literature provides light where there's ignorance. So reading is important. And, ink is what produces the words or the actual writing of it. And so if I was to just have a vial of ink that was so magical, instead of someone, and just throw it on someone when they're stupid or ignorant, and poof, they're no longer ignorant.
Very good one. I like that. Very good one. Let's get another one. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me what was the big inspiration for your book, for the novel?
The big inspiration was, I love fantasy fiction, and I love other worlds, and I've just loved that type of creativity. And I wanted to create a world that was something that I wanted to be a part of. So that was the first thing. But the other thing is, like, bees are so important to us as a species, and I wanted to bring significance to their importance. And so these people that are in this amazing kingdom are actually beekeepers. Their job is to take care of the bees, which are the actual royalty. And then suicide awareness was the other inspiration. So one of the main villains in the story his name is Odilum. And in India, there's a tree that is known as a suicide tree. It's called Odilum, I believe. And people consume it to commit suicide or murder. And so the villain in the story, his name is Odilum, and he infects young people's minds and causes them to commit suicide.
Wow.
So that's kind of inspiration as to what developed as to why I wanted to create the villains and stuff.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Next question. How would you describe a perfect, healthy relationship?
Perfect, healthy relationship. Well, definitely the most healthy and perfect one is the one I think that one has with oneself. That is the most important one. Because without that, it's impossible to have one with someone else, I think. Yeah. And so the healthiest relationships I have been ones where the people, myself and the other person, has been on mutual understanding as far as how the other perceives the world. So that there's some emotional intelligence and the ability to communicate, anything that's happening. But the foundation, I think that the foundation of a good relationship is one where they are friends. I think that being friends is important.
Totally. Absolutely. I agree as well. I enjoyed the show so far.
Yes, very fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Let's get to another question.
Okay.
Okay, Gerrad, before the next question, can you tell me when was the first time you've been in London, in England? What was your first impression, like when you arrived here? Oh my God, it's so different where I come from. Tell me something.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a very small town in Montana, very poor. When I was in high school, I participated in my high school drama program, and I loved being a part of theater. And when I graduated high school, that same kind of community theater program invited me to go to London to be part of a production that they were putting on there. One of the actors was doing a PhD program in London to get his doctorate in directing, and so part of that was he had to produce a show in London. So he invited us all over, and so I was there in 2003 for a summer, and it was amazing because I came from this very small part of the world. I'd never really lived in a big city, and I had never been exposed to big different cultures. London, there's over 300 languages spoken in the city.
Lots.
And yes, and so coming from a place where there's one language spoken gives you an idea how big the mind will grow in such a change. And it was amazing. It was the most amazing time in my life, in that I was meeting all kinds of people. I was having so much fun, and I didn't do anything really touristy because I was there to do a job. Okay. So I would go about town exploring. I would go into little markets, eating, doing some shopping. I would go to the city pools. And then by 7 p.m. I would go to the theater to get ready for the show. And then we were done by 11 p.m. and I'd go to my dorm and do it all over the next day. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. When I came back to the States, I was so homesick. I had never...
Wow.
It was weird. Yeah, it's how comfortable I was there, because for the first time in my life, I felt like I was not wrong. I wasn't an outsider. I was seen as normal. In fact, when I was there, everyone thought I was from South Africa.
Interesting.
They're like, "Oh, you're not American." And I was like, "Yeah, that's where I'm from," because I was so embarrassed. I was like, because at the time that 9/11 had happened, and
yes,
there was a political climate where Americans were not viewed as being. It wasn't favorable to be American at the time.
Right.
And then that changed, of course, with Obama. And then it kind of happened again with Trump. So at the time, Bush was in administration, and it was not considered good to be American. So I was like, yep, I'm from South Africa. So anyway, and I was 18, you know, I was a baby, but yeah. So that was the first time I was there, and it changed my life. It was amazing.
That's good. Next question. Let's do it. What 3 things do you want to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered for bringing something that is joyful or meaningful to people's lives.
Okay.
I want to be remembered for helping people.
Yeah.
And I also want to be remembered for someone who stands up for people who are being marginalized or being secluded, because that's been my life. And so when I see it now, and I see it often, I speak up, definitely. And I've even had death threats sent to me because of that. So it gets real. It gets real in America.
Oh my God.
And so, you know, but I'm not afraid. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep standing up for what is true and what is right. And there's no room for ignorance or hate in my life. And so that's what I would like to be remembered for.
Very good one. Very good. When you say you are being, you've been through this process because of being gay, or?
Yeah. Mostly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And but you always had the support of your family, or not, in regarding being gay?
Yes and no.
Right.
I moved out when I was 15, so my parents divorced, and the home life had gotten really, really bad to the point where it was dangerous for me to be there. And so I left. I went to stay with an aunt. And so my sexual identity was never even like a thing, because it was always about my parents' trauma and their parents' situation. Their lives were just falling apart. And so, you know, I remember seeing them at some point, like a year or two after I moved out, and they're like, oh, we're trying to get back together, get back to me, oh, come live with us again. I said, I'm done. Like, I'm good. I have a job, I have an apartment, I'm going to high school, things are nice. And I'm not going back into that world. And I'm happy to say that they've grown up now, and I have them in my life in a much wonderful way. But at the time, the question of my sexuality came up, and basically, I didn't give them the opportunity to even give the opinion about it, because I didn't care. Because I said, essentially, when you get your shit together is the day that you can tell me how to run my life. Which they couldn't. So they had no power over me. I wasn't depending on them for anything, not food, shelter. So it was never an issue, because I didn't allow them the opportunity to even make it an issue.
Okay.
So
good one.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's get another one. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Gerrad, next question is, what would be your ideal day?
My ideal day?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a few. Let's say, if it's winter, my ideal day is to go up to a beautiful ski mountain, get up really early and have a big breakfast and eat lunch on the hill, ski all day until the slope closes, and then come back and have a big dinner and go to a hot tub and soak afterward, and then go to bed. Yeah, that's my favorite type of thing to do in the winter times. And I have friends who are like really casual skiers, like, oh, let's just go for a few hours. Like, no. This is a whole day thing. We're getting up early. We're stuffing ourselves with food, and we're not coming down until we're done. So I always tell them, like, if you're gonna go with me, that's what it's gonna be like. So just so you know. So yeah, that's my ideal kind of winter day anyway.
Great. Do you ski, like, how often do you ski per week? Or
it's been a while now, because I've been moving around quite a bit until I now settled here in Helena, Montana. There's a ski, I moved here about a year ago now. There's a ski mountain just 20 minutes from where I live now. I haven't been to it yet. We just are now getting snow. It's been a really dry year so far. So,
Okay, cool. Let's get another question.
okay.
When was the last time you were in London?
Last February. So right before the pandemic. It was, I guess, in 2019 maybe.
Very recently, just last year.
Yeah.
Hey. Right. What is your all-time favorite band and why?
I have to say probably Alanis Morissette. She's probably been the most profound in the way that she's influenced me, and her music is so. She's an amazing lyricist, first of all, and her work with Glenn Ballard is my favorite. I mean, he's amazing. So to put two amazing people together, and of course, it's going to be incredible. So, yeah.
What's your favorite song?
Probably "Thank You." That song that she wrote when she came back from India. Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Oh,
it's so simple. Yeah.
Very good. Next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, if someone offered you to tell your future, would you accept it or not? And why?
No.
Why is that?
Because I already know. No, I don't know. I think it would be so boring.
That's true. That's true.
I wouldn't be surprised because I'm seldom surprised anyway. So it would really take a lot of the surprise out if I knew.
Next question.
Yeah.
Would you rather be invisible or be able to fly? And why?
I think I'd rather be able to fly.
Why?
Why? Because I think that if one is paying attention and as they age, I think life becomes like a bird's eye view perspective. At least it's helpful if one can have this bird's eye perspective of what's happening around them, and so to be able to fly, you would have that perspective. And another reason would be so I could just see the amount of territory that I would like to see. Yeah.
In a faster way.
Yeah.
Okay, Gerrad, I've got 3 questions left for you, okay? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is, what does love mean to you?
Is acceptance. So acceptance, and it's a verb, so it's an action. Someone can tell you that they love you, but are they showing you that they love you? That's the distinction between what real love is and what someone believes love is. And oftentimes that we find ourselves, especially in our youth, we say we love someone, but really we love our idea of that person. We don't actually love them, quite potentially. And so until one person learns how to love someone and how to show them and how to display that, that's what love is. And it comes from accepting the person as they are. So at any given moment, we all have bad days and good days. And at any given moment, love is like, okay, this person is having a bad day, and it's okay. Unless there's, of course, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what that means, I think.
Do you believe that there are different kinds of love?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, well. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay. Next question is, share with us a crazy story that happened to you when you were at school.
I mean, a lot of crazy things happened. One, I broke my arm, my left arm. I'm left-handed. I broke my arm when I was in second grade, and I was in an L joint cast because it was my elbow that actually broke. And I remember there was this bully at school. He used to tease me. When I came back to school and I was wearing the cast, he pushed on my arm inside of the cast. He pushed on it, and it popped. And I never said anything to anyone because I was scared. I was afraid he was gonna, do more harm. And I never had it x-rayed, even to this day. But I remember it popped, and I don't know if it helped it or if it hurt it. I don't know, but I mean, it healed, But so that was interesting and weird.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's been other. I mean, gosh, school was crazy,
Yeah, it can be a very tough place, isn't it? Like when you.
Yes.
Yeah. I just loved going to school, but sometimes as well, like when I knew about this boiling, it drives in a different direction. You lose your interest about school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Ready for the last question?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, Gerrad, the next question is, again, about describing things. How describe a perfect friendship?
Perfect friendship is, I think most relationships, it's based on reciprocity. So, and I have all kinds of different types of friendships, but the ones that are enduring, the ones that last, are both people just take a second to think about the other person and let them know. And so, whether it be through just a text message once in a while, phone call, just planning to meet up, having coffee, as long as there's a continuation, then it shows interest and both sides are engaged in that. I had this was something I talked about with a friend yesterday. I said, if it's one-sided, it doesn't work. It can't work because that's physics even. Like physics is at play. And with everything that is successful, there is a binary. So there is, if you imagine like a pendulum swinging back and forth,
mm-hmm.
if gravity is not pulling at both directions, the pendulum stops. And the same thing with relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree. Right. It's not the end yet. Okay, let's play now the quick thinking game. So I'm going to give away some words and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Okay.
Let's start with money.
Growth.
Okay. Family.
Priceless.
Okay. Love.
Love is enduring.
Okay. Life.
Oh. Precious.
Sex.
Huh?
Yes, fun. Politics.
Important.
Religion.
Garbage.
Fear.
Fear is important as well.
That's true. Friendship.
Yeah. Oh, just spectacular.
Regret.
Oh, futile.
Desire.
Oh, desire, and it's necessary.
Wish.
Wish. Contentment.
Okay. And the last one now. Good Oliver, Dooley, and the Palace of Keepers. One word.
Let's see. Magical.
Good one. Very good one. Right. Okay, Gerrad, let's play now. Gerrad and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question, okay? Okay, you can ask me a question now.
So I'm assuming that you've traveled quite a bit.
Yeah, not a lot. But...
Where's your favorite place you've been to, and why?
My God, it's a very tough one because I've been so different places that I could live there. But I think right now would be Canada. Yes, I've been to Canada 3 times, not twice, and I was planning to go now as well. But yeah, it's just a place that I think I could live in Canada like easily. It's just a beautiful place, a beautiful country. You are in touch with the nature as well, and of course my best friend lives there as well, so I think it helps. But
that's nice.
I think Canada would be a place that I would live there forever. It's my favorite place so far.
Where in Canada?
Montreal.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Quebec, Montreal.
Yeah,
so beautiful there.
It's so beautiful. I went as well to Toronto. I was visiting other parts as well, but it's just everything's just so beautiful. Just love it.
It's so huge too. So
yeah, absolutely. Good.
Cool.
Right, Gerrad, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the experience?
Yes, I did. Thanks very much for asking me.
So thank you so much. Thanks for being so sweet and so kind and accepting my invitation. And again, sorry for missed up the time as well. I felt so bad. I thought, oh my God, what have I done?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just before you go, if you can share a positive quote, a positive message, or something that inspires you in life.
Find the people in life who want you and can see in you the best version of you, and keep them around you. And if they don't support that version of you, get rid of them.
Very good one. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for your time.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.